Ladies and gentlemen, Violent Games here. Today I'm going to be going over the August 17th patch notes. Definitely a huge point of contention with people right now in Blizzard, simply because these changes are buffs and nerfs that may or may not be warranted. There may be some salt thrown in this video. I just want to prepare you for that because I'm not happy about one of these fucking changes, guys, and I'm pretty fucking upset about it. So, just for forewarning, I'm going to be pretty pissed off at one point in the video. Without further ado, I'm just going to start reading off of these patch notes, and I'm not going to be focusing on the skill rank shit. I don't care. What I think's pertinent to you guys is hero balance, because that's the most important thing, in my opinion. So let's start off with the generalized hero balance. Ultimates that consume ultimate meter when activated will now drain the meter more quickly, 0.25 second instead of 1 second. Basically what this means is that ultimates that would have forgiveness frames is what I like to call them. Like say you interrupt an ultimate and basically there'll be some ultimate meter left after you respawn. Basically, this means that they'll decrease a lot more quickly, so if you are killed while activating your ultimate or something like that, like say you were using McCree's Deadeye, and someone kills you within those frames, then that doesn't really count anymore. Or that's not gonna, you know, save meter for you if you're executed, because it drains a lot more quickly. And the second change was reverted a recent change to reduce the size of hero projectiles. Basically, they were trying to balance Hanzo, and they're like, oh, but it made him too hard to fucking play. It's like, yeah, that's the fucking point, because playing Widowmaker on console is a goddamn nightmare. Fucking Blizzard, god fucking. So yeah, they reverted a change that I think needed to happen, but still. Alright, who's the first hero up on our roster? Well, we have D.Va. D.Va's defense matrix has changed by, after being activated, defense matrix will begin regenerating following a 1 second delay, formerly 0.5 seconds. Now, I actually agree with this change for the same reasons that Blizzard does, is that it was extremely efficient to just spam this and basically kind of deny Widowmaker shots or like troll an enemy team. Like they'll have to shoot you and then they'll be like, okay, I'll wait for her to stop, but then she'd be able to put it right back up before any significant damage was done. I'm glad she can no longer toggle spam it. You know, the 1 second delay allows like my Widowmaker to get a headshot in and, you know, help strip down D.Va like she used to be able to. So I now have the knowledge that I can shoot at D.Va for a decent amount of time right after she uses defense matrix. I like it. Alright, you all know I'm pissed off about the next one, fucking Hanzo. Hanzo will now experience a 30% decrease in speed while aiming, formerly 40%. This means that this jackass can fucking move faster while he's aiming. What the fuck? And that's not even the best part. His maximum projectile speed has increased by 30%. Are you fucking kidding me? We didn't fucking need this. Like, what the fuck were they thinking? Now Hanzo is way fucking better than Widowmaker on console. Now, because his fucking weapon shoots more like a goddamn hit scan weapon now, and it's the size of a fucking Christmas tree when you shoot the goddamn arrow. The hitbox is what I'm referring to. The hitbox is the size of a fucking Christmas tree. Why the fuck was this needed? It makes pop shooting against Hanzo as Widowmaker damn near fucking impossible on console. I hope to fuck we don't have to get this buff to Hanzo. He doesn't fucking need it. Who said ever on any version of this game that Hanzo needed a buff? Fucking no one. Fucking no one, because he's on console, he's the most viable sniper, period, offensively. On Amari's very viable too, but for different reasons, obviously, because she's a healer. But what the fuck? Hanzo didn't need a fucking buff, and especially not one that makes his projectile even better. His projectile was overpowered because it goes behind cover because the hitbox is fucking astronomically large. What in the shit? And I love how the fucking developers justify this. Hanzo has the potential to deal a lot of damage. Yeah, that's the fucking point. That's why you shouldn't be doing this. It's not like Hanzo had fucking troubles at all. But he can really feel inconsistent. Well, fuck, I hope so. I hope that his arrow, just like in real life, drops off in speed and height like a real fucking bow and arrow does. No, let's make it more like a fucking actual rifle. Yeah, so Hanzo players don't have to think when they shoot now. Even more so. It's not like they were fucking thinking beforehand when they were spamming out their goddamn arrows. God fucking damn it. Like, this is infuriating the fuck out of me. Ugh. By increasing the projectile speed, we're extending his reliable range, making it easier to land shots. Yeah, like, that wasn't the fucking... It wasn't fucking easy to land a Christmas tree in someone's face. Ugh. I am absolutely fucking outraged by this one, guys. Like, it is barbarically fucking stupid. And I don't know where it comes from. Maybe it's from PC. Maybe people on PC were playing Widowmaker because they can actually fucking aim with a mouse and keyboard. And the headshot damage, you know, made up for her utilities being absolute fucking garbage. That is not the case on console. And this buff better not fucking come to console. And if they do, it's extremely stupid. No one's gonna play Widowmaker. Like, plain and simple. There's no fucking reason to pick her almost, like, as it is. I love Widowmaker. I have so much fucking time into Widowmaker. I want an excuse to play fucking Widowmaker. And now I'm gonna get more fucking hate from goddamn trolls because everyone wants me to play fucking Hanzo because he's a god. Okay, guys. Let's move on. I'll stop trying to be salty. That's not gonna happen, though. Let's see what else is fucking happening. Alright, Mei's the Blizzard projectile now pierces a barrier, so that's her ultimate, is Blizzard. I don't have a problem with this, strictly because I don't think Mei is super overpowered. Some people hate Mei on console and are gonna be really pissed off about this, but for me, I think players on the competitive scene especially can easily get around Mei's ult now. When they hear her say that shit, everyone scatters out. It's no longer like you can't really escape it in time. Yeah, some people can get caught up in the crossfire or whatever, but, you know, it's a part of her kit. So they basically increased the effectiveness of that. The second increase is that the radius has been increased from 8 meters to 10. Again, just to kind of boost the effectiveness of Blizzard so that people can get caught on the outskirts a little bit easier. You guys let me know how you feel about this one, because I'm kind of like in between on this one, like, because I avoid Mei's ultimate almost all the time now. So that's why I'm not feeling this is a completely unnecessary change. But Mei is also a very easy to use character who annoys people on average, so some people might be very pissed off that Mei's getting a buff, because she's probably the easiest character to play on consoles, period, as of right now, alongside Bastion and some others, but I think Mei is very easy to play. So I'm not entirely sure this buff was needed on console, but on PC maybe it has, because the skill cap is definitely higher on PC. So let's move on to McCree. Deadeye now drains over 0.25 seconds, which I think is universal. I think they said early on that that was a universal change, so I don't know what the fuck they're trying to say with this one or why it needed to be noted, but yeah, I mean, everyone else who has a draining meter apparently has this change, so I don't know why they just said it again on McCree, but no, I'm looking at it right now, I'm like fucking boggled. I'm like, why do they post this? We already know that. I even used him as an example when I covered that. What the fuck? Well, it's there. Alright, let's talk about Mercy. Her Kadususuku staff and healing beam. Heals per second has increased by 20%. This needed to happen. I don't know why they say increased by 20% instead of saying what it actually is. Basically, this means her heals per second is going from 50 heals per second to 60. Which is pretty good. I mean, I think that needed to happen. I think she was falling way behind in pick rate because Ana Amari is flat out a better single target healer. And people can really deal with Mercy now, and the fact that she can only use one part of her kit at a time kind of left her naked when dealing with like certain enemies. And if your teammates weren't around to help you dash away or switch to a new person to, you know, hide behind them, then it could become pretty weird to play as Mercy, you know what I'm saying? So buff needed, I appreciate it, that's not a problem. Now resurrected allies will be able to maneuver after 2.25 seconds, reduced from 3 seconds. This means that the time where you're sitting there all gold and glowy and, you know, you're coming back from after previously being ulted by fucking Genji or killed by Bastion or whatever the shit, you just have less time to sit there and do nothing. So it kind of helps. It's kind of a buff, but I don't think it's going to really matter. It's kind of how I feel. And yeah, the developer commentary behind that was basically like, we want Mercy to not suck dick anymore. I agree. Now here comes the salt. This is going to be fucking hilarious. Strictly because I know how you Genji players are out there. I know you love your Genjers. I get it. I would be fucking ravishly pissed if someone nerfed Tracer the way they're nerfing Genji right now. So let's get into all these nerfs for Genji, because there's quite a few. There's literally let's count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's like 5 nerfs to this guy. Like, at least if hopefully I'm counting that correctly. But let's go into them and how I feel about each one. Double jump no longer resets when climbing. Basically, this means you can't do a double jump, hit the wall, and bounce off and double jump again. Don't really have a problem with that, simply because his double jump is fine as it is. However, some people really like to be annoying with it. And to be honest, guys, like, I know I might get some hate for this. I'm okay with this one. I think double jump being resets when climbing was not actually something Blizzard intended to be in the game. And to be honest, I don't think it's going to ruin Genji to not be able to do that. I think his double jump is fine as it is. The fact that you can space out the jumps themselves can make it very deceptive and give you a lot of variety to, you know, be very annoying and very jumpy and shit. I think it's fine. I think we can get away with this one. Now let's talk about his dash. Dash no longer deals damage to trap like Widowmaker's Venomine or Junkrat's Steel Trap. Again, I feel like this scenario doesn't happen that much often anyways, because Genji's usually just double jump over Junkrat's trap or just outright destroy it. Most of them won't Swift Strike through it because they want to conserve that Swift Strike to begin with, so they can use it on their opponent or the person who they're trying to backline. So I'm not super offended by that one. No longer bypasses Junkrat's Steel Trap. Basically, that means you can't dash like over it and just not be punished for it. This could be an interesting way for Junkrat to counter Genji. Do I think, again, is it like super pertinent? No, but it also means that Genji has to think twice about just sprinting into a Junkrat, because if Junkrat throws down that trap in the linear hallway when you're about to do your dash, he can catch you in it, which could be very devastating. You're like dashing at him and all of a sudden clamp, you're caught, and then you're immobile. You're kind of fucked if you don't have your reflect up. So I could see that pissing off some people, but then again, Junkrat's Steel Trap should be viable for backline harassers. I think that was the intention of the trap in the first place. So Swift Strike. Swift Strike no longer interrupts quick melee attacks, and this is a big one, guys. Oh my god. When I saw this, I was like, Genji players are going to be so pissed off. Basically, all of the combos that everyone has been teaching people, including me in my guide, are now no longer really viable, or at least they're not nearly as viable as they once were. Basically what this means is that you cannot use a quick melee and then follow up with Swift Strike immediately to cancel the animation recovery from quick melee. So you can't do fan melee and then quick strike or any other combination that people like to popularly use on the internet that involves, after using a melee, going into Swift Strike. Like, that's a bummer, guys. Like, oh my god. I want to hear how salty my Genji players are. Because I love Genji, and I do not feel like Genji was overpowered, which is kind of why I feel like while some of these changes kind of make sense, some of them kind of feel like a slap in the dick, this being probably one of the biggest ones. The next biggest one is definitely coming up. So not being able to combo with Genji kind of simplifies his kit as well, because you're going to just be fanning more and throwing more shurikens and then swift striking. Like, I don't think... What I will say, guys, is even after like reading the last one myself, I don't think Genji's not going to be like useless after this happens. I don't understand why a lot of people are like, oh, he's fucking dead, I'm not going to fucking play him anymore. What the fuck? You put all that time into learning Genji's shurikens and you're not going to play him anymore? I don't think the nerf warrants people to quit Genji by any means. I think Genji can still be extremely viable. I just think it's kind of a bummer because I think the combos were a part of Genji's like advanced play, and now that skill cap's kind of been reduced on Genji, period. So I just don't know how to feel about that one because I'm not a Genji player. I can't speak from that perspective. So I kind of feel personally like that Genji will move on from this. I don't think it's going to ruin the character. I think people saying that it's going to ruin the character are a little too fucking crazy, but I understand where they're coming from because they're really passionate about the character, which I can respect. Now let's move on to the final point. Dragon Blade. The duration of Genji's ultimate has been reduced from 8 seconds to 6 seconds. Holy fucking shit. This is nasty as fuck. And the reason that is because if you use Dragon Blade and Lucio drops the beat, you're basically going to kill jack shit. Your ultimate's going to be over before then. It also means if Ana Amari shoots you with a sleep dart and the whole duration of that sleep dart is over, you're not going to be able to use Dragon Blade at all. And furthermore, if Zenyatta uses Transcendence, you're not killing shit. Sometimes after these ultimates would be activated, those last 2 seconds could secure the kill on like a healer. But with it being 6 seconds now, and a lot of people will underestimate this, but 2 seconds in Overwatch is a long time. I know that sounds fucking stupid, but with how fast the combat is in this game, 2 seconds really matters. This is a pretty hefty nerf on Genji's ultimate, especially because, like I said, that means all of the counter ults for when someone drops a big ult and then like one of the supports tries to counter using, you know, one of their abilities. Like I just mentioned, Lucio's Drop the Beat, Zenyatta's Transcendence, and Ana's Sleep Dart. Yeah, that means that's gonna be the thing that shuts Genji down. So, and while Genji is a lot, or not a lot less effective, I would say he's noticeably less effective. I'm not going to say significantly, because I think Genji is still viable after this. Like I said, I think you guys are going to be able to work around it. I think Genji players are phenomenal at the game. They usually invest a lot of time into learning the skills that they need to learn. So I think Genji's still going to be viable, but he is much more counterable than he used to be. Like, if you look at all of these things, it kind of prevents his shenanigan portion of his character. Whereas Tracer's shenanigans have not been touched, so the question is, who now has the more shenanigans? I think Genji still has a good amount of them, but he does not have as much as he used to, guys. That has been reduced. I can't wait to see what happens in the meta for this one. I hope Genji isn't trash after this. To be honest, the one that I'm pissed off about, and the one I will totally empathize with the Genji players on is the the ability they took away from Swift Strike. Because being able to combo, I don't think that was like a terrible thing for Genji. He's a fucking ninja. Of course he's gonna be able to do combos and shit. Like, that's some fighting game character shit, and I thought it made sense on Genji, but they got rid of it. Again, because I don't think the developers intended for Genji to be able to do that. The community just kind of found out, and they were like, oh shit, we should probably fix that, because it's actually really effective. I don't know. Again, I don't know, maybe this is again a change made because of the PC players being very good at Genji. I have no idea. Alright, let's move on to Lucio. Amp it up. The boosting of movement speed has decreased by 30%. Basically, the increase would increase your movement speed by 100%. It now only increases it by 70%. And the reasoning behind this, according to the developer comments, is thanks to Lucio's speed increase, he was almost a pick in every lineup. This is actually true on PC. Definitively true on PC. And on console, I would say Lucio was a better healer than Mercy, and his kit was a little more sophisticated than Mercy's. Do I think that this is going to ruin Lucio? Absolutely not. I think it's just going to make him less, or slightly less effective in those instances where you're just getting to the point really, really quickly, and maybe allowing Symmetra to set up a bunch of turrets really quickly, maybe. I don't know. I don't really know the reasoning behind this decision, but I will say this: console players, when I was moving them, when I was Lucio and I would use speed boost, they would never take advantage of it, and sometimes they would just run past the enemy by accident. So maybe this isn't such a bad change for console, because they have more frames to kind of, you know, decide where to aim and shoot and how to adapt to the field once you're being amped up. So, I don't know how to feel about this one. Now moving on to Roadhog. So, now this is going to be a mixed opinion based on if you like Roadhog or not. Chain Hook. If the hooked target isn't Roadhog's line of sight and retracting the hook, they will be moved back to the position they were originally hooked. Now let me take out all the bullshit here and tell you what that sentence actually fucking means. It means that Roadhog's chain attack is going to be way more effective, and it's going to revert the movement frames you would use to avoid it. So if you land your hook, it is much more likely that you're actually going to get the kill on that target or get your shotgun blast off. So it means Roadhog's hooks more effectively, but again, if you're like Tracer or whatever, you can dodge the hook or you could bait the hook. There's a ton of things that could go down within this process or within this period of time. It makes Roadhog a little more consistent, which I think he might have needed, because I think Roadhog, in regards to the tanks in the game, was actually starting to fall behind. And this is going to give him some more viability, especially for taking out characters like healers. Like, so, let's just say he's trying to get a Mercy. He's going to be able to hook that Mercy much more effectively. So, I don't know. I'm actually kind of okay with this one, because while I don't play Roadhog, and it's kind of a disadvantage of me now that he can hook, especially when I'm Tracer, and if he gets a hook off on me, I'm probably fucked. I still think he kind of needed it because he was starting to fall behind in my opinion, as far as competitive games go. Like, whenever I see the enemy team with a Roadhog tank, I'm not intimidated, is what I'm trying to say. Like, he's the least intimidating tank to me with the characters that I usually play. Alright, let's move on to Zenyatta, because there is a big nerf to Zenyatta. His Orb of Discord has been reduced from 50% damage increased on an enemy target to 30% damage increased on an enemy target. This is a pretty chunky buff, guys, but I kind of feel like it was necessary, because when I was playing comps, when people were good with Zenyatta's headshots, he would just melt through people like crazy. And like I said in my Zenyatta review, which is now invalid, kind of, Zenyatta was a 5 out of 5, like the first 5 out of 5 on my list, I believe, because he had an easier skill cap, he had a healing utility, and his Orb of Discord was like the entire, like your entire team getting a mercy buff when they shoot that person. Now it's a little bit less. I think this is absolutely necessary because Zenyatta was becoming ridiculous, guys. People were practicing with him, people were getting very good, but retroactively, or, you know, taking my statement back a bit, I feel like his pick rate's going to go way down because of this. Simply because he can no longer 1v1 everyone in the game now with just accuracy. He now has to make sure that he's still with his team so that they can provide extra damage. Now, I think he's still, you know, viable. And let's move on to this. Orb of Destruction, which is his main attack. The damage has been increased from 40 to 46. So, I think he's still going to be very viable, guys. It's just that the Discord Orb is not going to be as punishing. Zenyatta is definitely in a better place than he was before his patches. So, there's always that to consider with his 200 health pool now. I think that's way, way, way better. I'm not going to complain about it, but I do agree with Blizzard in that the Discord Orb was kind of OP. That's where I stand on that. And guys, that's it for the PTR patch of August 17. A lot of salt, guys. A lot of salt. Fuck Hanzo. That's all I have to say. If you take anything home, if you put anything on a fucking t-shirt, make sure it's just fuck Hanzo. I hate this character. He's my least favorite character in the game. Why the fuck is he getting a buff? And I hope to fuck that they take some consideration into the console port of this game. Because the bottom line is, on console, Widowmaker needs a buff. She needs a utility buff. Please, God, give her a utility buff. I don't care what the fuck it is. She just needs one. Because Hanzo has too many bags of tricks now, and now he's even better at it. And I do not approve. I think it's absolute fucking garbage. And as for Genji, the fuck was wrong with Genji? Like, I don't know the full story because I haven't played on PC, but is Genji just too good or something? I started seeing him more in competitive, and I will vouch for that. The competitive Genjis have been getting a lot better since I made my guide, guys. And that's not because of me. I'm not saying that. But Genji players go hard. So, I don't know if that was a warranted change or not. I really cannot tell you. For PC, it might be the reason that this is happening, but, you know, I'm just tore up about it. Let me guys know what you think about the patches. Like, I'm very disappointed that I don't see any Widowmaker buffs in here. I'm very disappointed in that. So let me know what you guys think. I keep rambling. I'm going to get off here now. If you liked the video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And especially comment. I respond to all of those. You guys are fucking awesome. Peace out.